Hi, Zizaran here with another 3.5 Betrayal build guide, and this is going to be arc traps and mines in the same guide. So there was like no nerf to arc, so it's ridiculously strong like before. And I haven't really talked much about mines before. Mines has been changed fairly recently as well, where they now detonate instantly. And this is a really strong build on like every league, solo, self-on, hardcore, softcore. It's just all around great. It's also really good as a league starter. You don't need to have like any previous budget to start this build, and it can do every content including Uber Elder, and very strong. I do use Path of Building a lot in this video, and I do recommend downloading that. I'll have that in the description down below as well. And for those of you who are new to the way I do build guides, I'll explain a little bit about it here. I do a step-by-step per point, and this also involves like the ascendancy things. So like for example by here, you know what, probably by here, you will have ascended, and there. It should be like fairly easy to follow. I have a separate tree for mines, separate tree for traps, so that is really nice. It's all in the same one. Here we have like the skills. You have like different sections. So for example, 1 to 7, 8 to 11 is the same for both. All gems are listed by priority as well. So for example, it would be Freezing Pulse and Onslaught if you only have a 2-link. If you have a 3-link, it's out of Lightning. So for example here, if you have a 5-link, you drop Lightning Pen. So it's all listed by priority, and should be fairly easy to follow. In the items, we have early, endgame for mines, endgame for traps. So we have like different sets, and I try to explain stuff like that. I don't put jewels in the early. Even if I'm ever walking past like say a 1-slot jewel, I don't put them in early because I'd rather players take them when they have jewels worth putting in. Like a 2-slot is always 2-slot or 1-slot is always worth putting in if you have like a 2 or 3-slot jewels. So for example, you know, life and lightning damage, something like that, then it's worth taking the jewels. They're really good. If you look at the notes as well, this is also aimed at new players. It shows exactly where each gem that's used in the build is bought. So for example, here at level 8 to 11 you buy Freezing Pulse from Nessa, and you have to have done the enemy at the gate quest. It'll explain a little bit. For example, Decoy Totem, you have to go all the way to Act 3, or you can do something called muling, is you make either a duelist or a marauder, and you do the breaking some eggs quest. So hopefully this helps new players. So there's also not a lot of like, a lot of content creators will turn on a lot of fake settings to make something seem like it does a lot more damage, and that's great clickbait. I don't like doing that. Like a lot of people turn on shocked and you don't get a 50% shock. Doesn't matter, but just wanted to go through that as well. So the bandit for this build is a Lyra. For Pantheons you would do Solaris and Shakari. And this is a really strong build for leveling. You get the blind ascendancy first, and blind makes them like barely ever hit you. Spells will still hit you, but there's not much spell damage early on. You also get quite a lot more damage against blinded enemies. So it's a very nice ascendancy. Generally I take Pyromaniac and Cruel, and then even though you don't get much life early on as a shadow, you do get quite a lot of survival through those. You get Mind Over Matter once you get over here. They're very strong for leveling. So I want to talk a little bit about the differences between traps and mines. Traps you throw directly at the enemy, and they instantly like pop as soon as they hit something. Once you get the chain reaction thing as well, which I usually take in Uber Lab, if one of them pops, all of them pop. So it's quite nice. I'd say generally mines are in a better place and stronger now as well. They're detonating mines is instant. It feels really smooth once you have this, and it's just generally a bit better. They do auto target, but if you don't like, you know, like throwing down the mines on the floor and then hitting D to detonate them, then, you know, traps aren't exactly far behind. Both like Hierophant Arc, or Totem Arc, I mean, and traps and mines, they're all very, very strong. So you have some great options there, and we do have a video for the totem ones as well that you can check out. And because that you don't get Mind Over Matter very early in this build, you get it around probably like when you're like 40. Because of this, you can run Herald of Thunder and Ice early on, and also Wrath once you get that. And then you can just drop out, I guess you can drop out Herald of Ice or Thunder. Also, in the item section, on all the rare items, I generally don't include things like resists. The reason for this is that it's just important for the player to get capped on like fire, cold, and lightning resist early on the game, ideally around Act 4. Please remember that you do lose resists once you kill at Kitava Act 5 and again at Kitava Act 10. Something else I've seen when I'm like helping people with builds is that their flasks are quite weak. Try to get instant life flasks while leveling at level 24 and 42, and you want to have grounding, staunching, warding, and heat. That is chill immune, bleed immune, curse immune, and shock immune. It makes you die a lot less. So flasks are very, very strong in this game. Make sure you use them. As opposed to on totems, on Arc you do go crit fairly early. You definitely want to get a diamond flask. You do get one from, there's an Act 7 quest with like picking up like some locket. You do get a diamond flask there in Act 7, but if you can get one before as well, you might actually be able to go crit fairly early, especially on mines. The skill tree is pretty nice, and once you have like Blast Cascade, that gives you power charges just from detonating mines. So fairly easy to get this early on, and that means that you can shatter if you're able to do cold damage. Later on you can consider doing something like a Call of the Brotherhood, which is really nice. However, if you're not able to use a Call of the Brotherhood and stuff like that, you can use added cold. You can also try to get flat added to spells on your scepter, and using a Herald of Ice is also an option. So the more flat added cold damage you get, the more likely you are able to shatter things. There also shouldn't be much respecking on this build. There's like a little bit of pathing stuff here that like you do to get slightly more life early on and slightly more damage early on, but very little respecking. You shouldn't even need any regret orbs. The regret quest should be enough. So I want to talk a little bit about gear as well. On traps you have one option of doing a glove called Slave Driver's Hand, which skills which throw traps have blood magic. So if you throw a trap, it'll use your life instead. And with the regen that you get from your Ascendancy, this is usually not a problem. But the nice thing about this is that it lets you use any cast speed or trap throwing speed, which is very, very big. I really enjoyed playing with this. And if you look at one of my characters, Zizaran Uber Theory, which shouldn't be reset by the patch, hopefully not. If it is, ouch. But generally, the only difference is that you try to get a lot more cast speed. Like this node is already quite nice. The reason I get attack speed in nearly every build is to shield charge faster. But like once you have the Slave Driver's Hands, nodes like this with the 4% attack speed for shield charging faster and then 4% trap throwing speed at this point is quite nice. Switching into the faster casting gem and getting onslaught either from a flask and stuff can be very fun. You throw out very quickly. It was very amusing to play with. For chest piece, you do have some options. For traps you can use Tinker Skin. I'm not a big fan. The reason for that is that I'm already getting power and frenzy charges for free off my skill tree, and I feel like Lord Weave offers better survival options, so not a big Tinker Skin fan. Lord Weave also got a buff this league with the form that Sapphire, Topaz, and Ruby Flasks now actually affect you on Lore Weave because they don't give max rest, they give elemental reduction. So that's very nice. And then you have Essence Worm, Call of the Brotherhood, very nice. Essence Worm to run the Wrath Gem without reducing any mana, and then you only have Clarity taking up some mana. And Call of the Brotherhood is for shattering monsters without using added cold or anything like that. And the way this works is when you're critting, it will destroy things like, for example, corpses that can't be detonated by either Beyond mobs or Storm boxes. And then you also have the what do you call it? The porcupine monsters won't like explode and their quills won't hit you. So that is a very, very big quality of life for survival. On jewels, you have loads of mods you can get as well, like crit multi with elemental skills, lightning damage, life, spell damage, attack speed again for shield charge, trap, mind damage depending on what you're using. So you have a lot of options like that. And hopefully you guys enjoy these guides. We're trying to crack out as many before Betrayal as possible. So if there is anything missing in the guide or anything I've forgotten, you're always welcome to drop by my stream, Zizaran, on Twitch, and ask questions there. I should be live for the majority of December. Hopefully these guys help you. Good luck in Betrayal, and try to die less than I do.